Hey guys, welcome back to Beginner's Breakdown. Okay, so one thing I want to emphasize most of all here is that what I was looking for here is not the crispest of builds, okay? This build that I do here can be way more refined, okay? What I was looking for here is just like mostly supply counts and how I macro compared to someone else. So I played for 7 minutes 31 seconds, and our other Terran player was at 93 with 93 supply count with 3 barracks, 1 starport, and 1 factory. He didn't have a lot of units, and he was doing some liberator harassment around the map. I didn't go for that here. I kind of wanted to just demonstrate kind of pumping out units and kind of not doing all of that fancy stuff and like how far you can push these sort of things. Now I have to admit, like, I think I get supply blocked a little bit. I think like my stim is very late. My third base is very late. I do a lot of mistakes that I kind of criticized on my last video of kind of sending my SCV out way too late with long distances to travel. But what I'm saying is that just because I criticize someone else for it doesn't mean that that I do it perfectly. I can see these flaws in my play, and I can take actions to fix or not fix that, depending on how far I want to go with the game. Cool. So, I kind of just want to show the difference between my replay and the other replay, okay? That is what I'm going to focus on here, and not like how crisply I'm doing the build. So as you can see, like here, my refinery is late. But that's fine, you know. So you can kind of see here what I was talking about before. Even before I've got my barracks, what I'm doing is cycling between my barracks and my SCV to kind of get my hands used to how I'm going to be playing the rest of the game. So I'm kind of, and because I haven't got any production instructions, I've kind of, I've hotkeyed something that I know I can switch to, but won't do anything almost if I press a button. So here I've hotkeyed an SCV so I can go 4, 4, 5, 4, 5, just to get my hands kind of warmed up, kind of get my hands used to what they'll be doing in a couple of minutes. Okay, so you can kind of see me switching between the two and then building the barracks when I need to. And then I hotkey the barracks as the 5, and then you can see me going 4, 5, 4, 5. And this again is just to get my hands kind of used to what they will be doing in a couple of minutes. Now I stack my SCVs. It's not something that that you have to do to get to this level. You can get to this level without doing these sort of shenanigans, but I like to do it just because it gives me like I've got nothing to do at the start of the game, so I may as well spend my APM on doing something productive. So I decide to do it on stacking my SCVs. Sometimes I get it wrong, sometimes I get it right. So you build about 15 SCVs, and then you can't like fit another SCV in, so you change it into an orbital command. And then as soon as that is done, I've got my first marine building. And there is a huge difference from the other game where we had to wait around for the marine to get built. And then I slammed down the command center instantly, and then I build the reactor instantly. If you want to go for a factory first before doing this, that is fine. And then I build my factory straight away. So I think I was saying before that the other player's factory came down at like 2:30ish. Mine's come down at 2:06, and I've got a reactor, and I've got less money. This is like all these little advantages kind of build up in the game. I also think my second gas is really late, but you know, I'm not here to criticize myself. I'm just talking about like how much different my build is compared to someone else's. And again, you can kind of see at the bottom what I'm doing is cycling through, trying to get my hands kind of ready for the game. Because like this part of the game, there's like literally nothing to do. Why not do that? Like get your hands ready for later in the game. So you can kind of see me going 4-5, 4-5, and then kind of building that barracks. As I said before, this is horrendously late, and I made my SCV kind of walk too far, and then I build my Star Fort straight away. Okay, and now it is almost 3 minutes, and I'm probably in a better position. And right here, you can kind of see what I was saying about like good macro and where this build can be refined a little bit. Okay. Now this command center is complete, but I can't change it into an orbital command because I'm 10 minerals behind. Now this may be because I put something down too early. It might be because I put something down too late. But this is where that refinement comes in, where like I could probably skip a marine of some kind to kind of get that extra 10 minerals. But as soon as I have got 150, you know that's changing into an orbital command, and there I've actually oversaturated, so I'm moving some SCVs down, and you can kind of see how this tapping business gets into play here. Is like now I've got like some production structures going, and now I can do 4-check, 5-check, 4-check, 5-check like really quickly. And then as soon as that is done, I'm going to change it over, and then build the add-on as soon as the barracks is done. That add-on comes down instantly, and I've got an SCV kind of building supply depots in the back there. And again, like this is where the refinement comes in. I've got production structures, but I haven't actually got enough money to build out of them. Again, this might be because things were too early, too late, but that's something to like know moving forward, that like maybe something has to be a little delayed for to like inch out something else like later on in the game. But as I was saying, like look at my minerals right now. I am so broke, and it feels great, right? I can't even build like 2 medevacs out of this starport right now because I'm so broke. I can't afford the tanks that the other player was building. I can't afford the missile turrets. I can't afford the engineering bays. And this is what I was saying before, is like when you actually get good at like this tapping method and like getting good at like the game, you've actually find yourself like broke a lot of the time, and like things will get later into the game, and then you'll have to like learn how to refine the builds further to kind of afford the things you were affording at the times that you were affording them. You can kind of see that I queue up my SCVs, and that's a fault of my own, of like I need to learn to not do that. But you can kind of see again the tapping coming into play of like 4-check, 5-check, 4-check, 5-check. And I'm building constantly, absolutely constantly. Now I'm going to fast forward it a little bit because you can kind of see that this is the route I'm going to go down. I'm getting a 3rd base up around 5 minutes. This is great. And I'm going to hit that 6-7 minutes mark, and then I'm going to pause. I'm going to check my supply count, check my production structure count, and kind of see how it compares to the other player. Now I do get attacked here, which is kind of unfortunate, but like I think I push it off with minimal losses. So here we go. We're coming around to the 7-minute mark. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Okay, so we're at like the 7:30 mark, okay? And what we were saying is that the other player had 3 barracks, 1 factory, 1 starport, 2 bases, and about 93 supply. Okay? So here, just building marines and medevacs, I know these are kind of supply inefficient units, especially this late in the game, but you can kind of see like the differences here of like my base having 6 barracks. Well, sorry. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This. I'm not holding shift. That's why that's not working. So I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 barracks, 1 starport, 1 factory that I haven't used just because I can't afford to use it. I haven't got any engineering bays. I've got way too many SUVs here, like not enough here, I guess. But just the sheer difference here of like, I've got a 3rd base up and running. I've got way more production structures than the other guy. I have way more supply. I have like more supply to build more stuff if I wanted to go further, you know. I've got this guy on supply depot journey. Like as I say, my stim is horrendously late here. But you can kind of see the differences between my play and other Terrans play of like kind of not refining the build, just these small things, like these small, like 5 seconds here, 2 seconds there, for like 4 seconds doing this. Like these small mistakes like add up very, very quickly, and it means that your opponent can get more of an edge on you. Like if I was against, like TVT, if I was against the other Terran player and we would go face to face at the 7:30 mark, I would absolutely slaughter him just because I've got more stuff. Cool. So I think like this may be all I have to say on this replay. I know I kind of like wanted to do a 3 video series on this. This was like more of a macro oriented, but I think, as I said in the other video, that it's kind of obvious, like the fork in the road, I think, of like you just build these 3 these production structures before building this orbital command and just like go all in essentially. So I'm not sure if there's like much value in me doing the other video, because this build was horrifically unrefined by me, I think. But again, it's just here to demonstrate like how much differently you can play just by fixing 1 or 2 things, and that it's actually not too difficult. Like, you know, you kind of think about the tapping mechanism a bit more. You get better at your macro. You get better at building supply depots. You get better at knowing when you can afford more production structures. And then you can think, like, when you get to a good level, you can think about refining the builds a bit more and, like, getting them to a better place. Like, as I say, there was a lot of times in this build that I just performed here that I had a production structure ready. I just couldn't afford to build anything because I was broke. I was absolutely broke. And that is the place where you want to be, is like being broke and kind of learning that, oh, maybe I can't afford the barracks at X time. Maybe I push it like a couple of seconds later, and instead of getting that barracks, I get a engineering bay instead, which will cost me, you know, less money, and I can get upgrades faster. And, you know, it's a sacrifice because you have less units, but you know, maybe that's the answer here. Cool. I guess thanks for watching. Hopefully I can be back soon with another video. Oh, I wanted to do a video on the different types of microplay and microplay that Terran has to perform in the game. So I guess I can talk about that a little bit. So in the game there's different types of splash damage, and I kind of want to do videos explaining how you evade and, you know, best ways to kind of play around some of the splash damages in games, because I think that's what causes a lot of Terran players hardship in this game, is just how to play against very specific types of splash damage. So I think the first video is going to be on the Baneling splash damage and how that works and how you can evade it. It's quite simple, to be honest. I mean, you just split, and I'm guessing like every Terran player under the sun has kind of seen like pro players split in the past, but I guess like what I want to do is more analyze why that works and why it's good to do that, and then like use that as a talking point when I talk about Colossus splash damage and High Templar splash damage and things like that. So I'm kind of hoping to do those videos very soon. I hope you guys enjoy those videos. For now though, I think I'm going to sign off. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.